Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session. In this session, we are going to focus on the two sales platforms available to chapters and chapter members. The first one is we'll call it the full sales application, and the second one we'll call it as the light sales application. The first one is what we're going to demo first, and we'll demo the light application after that. During my demo, I'll talk about the differences between the two sales apps available to chapters. So I'm logged in right now to the full application. This is a URL for it. Once you have your login set up, you will be able to access this platform through this URL, and you can bookmark it so you don't have to remember the URL. But once you log in, this is the screen you will come to first. I'll talk a little bit about this screen, and then I'll deep dive into the core aspects of this platform. At the top, I'll see the FEI logo. Next to it, I'll see the sales menu. I can click on the drop down next to it, and I'll focus on three core entities that we want to use as part of this platform. Number one is organization, which is any company like Goldman Sachs, Chase Bank, etc. Individuals. Individuals are people that either work at those organizations or individuals, financial executives who could be prospects, members, etc. And then opportunities, which is really our sales pipeline. So right now, I am under sales and under organization, and I see this particular screen here. So I can see that I have a view, which is called as the active organization view, which is really showing me all organizations across the entire, across all chapters and across FEI. So there is full data transparency here. I can go and search for records. So right on the right-hand side, I have this search option. For example, I can type Chase, and I can click on it. And when I click on it, it'll actually show me any records that have the word Chase in them. So in this case, for example, I can see I have Chase Bank USA and I have Chase Bank Stamford. And so let me go ahead and, before I log into this, let me go ahead and create a brand new record. So at the very top on the left-hand side, I'll see an option to create a new organization. So here I am on the organization form. It's a fairly simple form. It starts here in the summary section with a bunch of key information. So let me go ahead and enter Goldman Sachs. I can classify my organization, whether it's a prospect, member, etc. In this case, I'm just going to classify them as a prospect. I can select a parent organization. So for example, when I had my Chase Bank record previously, I had Chase Bank National and Chase Bank Stamford. If I opened up the Chase Bank Stamford record, I would see that Chase Bank National is the parent. So this is how I can create multiple Goldman Sachs, still have them associated with the parent Goldman Sachs record. In this case, I'm not going to select anything. I can enter a bunch of additional information like phone, website, etc. For now, I'm not going to enter that information. Also, anything marked with a red asterisk is required. All the other fields are not required. Let me go ahead and save this record. So on the top left-hand corner, I'm going to select Save. When I save this record, it will now go ahead and let me show me some additional information. So in the middle of the screen, so this feature is actually available only in the full application, is a section called Insights. This is getting information from multiple data sources like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and many, many more, and kind of showing you a consolidated view of this organization. So here I am. I can see the address, phone number, URL, revenue, etc., which none of them I've entered here. So I can actually get some of that information into my system. So let me go ahead and go to this button here, which is update account information. So let me go click on that. And what it'll do is it'll give me an option to select whatever information I want to enter in my sales application from what's available here. So anything on the right-hand side is what came up from all the social media platforms. And on the left-hand side is what I really want to enter. So really, I just want to enter the company name. I do want to get the phone number. And I want to go ahead and enter the website and the address. So let me go select all of those. And that's all I care for really. And so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to hit, I think I'm okay with this. Let me go ahead and update account. So when I do that, it'll say, hey, success, looks great. Do you want to refresh your customer, right? So what will happen now is actually it got that data into my sales application. So now I have the correct organization name, I have the address, I have the phone number, I have the website. Great. Additionally, I can research more people working, individuals working at that organization. So I can go ahead find contacts. So when I do that, it'll actually go into the Goldman Sachs information on social media and across LinkedIn mainly, but many other platforms get me all the contacts working at this company. So I really want to target the financial people at that company, so I can actually go ahead and say, okay, you know what, I do want this individual to be entered in my CRM system. Maybe I want to try, pitch them membership or sponsorship. Um, Not the medical officer, of course. Let me select a couple of contacts. And what this will do is give me an option to actually go ahead and add these contacts to my to my sales system. So you'll find that I might use the word CRM and sales systems sort of on and off. So this is also called a CRM, customer relationship management. All right, so let me go ahead and click on view contacts, or actually let me go ahead and go back to Goldman Sachs. I'm going to go ahead and actually refine that, refresh that list, or refresh that organization. So now I'm back into Goldman Sachs, and now I can go to this section here, which I'll call as the hamburger menu, or if you don't eat meat, it's the vegan burger or a vegetarian burger or whatever you like. Let me go and click on contacts, and I'll see that those two contacts have been added in my system, which is great. All right, so we looked at organization. Now let's go back to sales and let's go look at individuals. All right, so I'm now looking at individuals. I can see that the default view for me is chapter individuals. This is important because these are individuals that are tagged to my chapter, right? I can look at all individuals as well by selecting active individuals, or I can specifically go into looking at individuals that are members, that are prospects, that are customers, etc. For now, I'm just looking at all individuals that are tagged to my chapter. So in this case, let me go ahead and create a new individual as well. So you'll see that really three fields are really required: name, email, and classification. So let me go ahead and John Smith. Just going to enter some dummy information at test.com. I'm just going to ignore this, and then I'm going to select the classification as a prospect. I don't need to enter any other information, and I can go ahead and save this particular record. So once I save this information, I'm all set. I've created my individual. If I did want, I could also tag it to an organization. So I can actually tag it to, let's say, if I type in Goldman, it'll actually go and search for it, and it'll say, hey, you want to tag it to Goldman Sachs? You can do that. And in this case, it'll either auto save every few seconds, or I can go ahead and click the small floppy disk on the bottom right-hand corner. All right, so there's nothing matching for insights, which is okay. Rest all looks good. One thing I can do here is I can actually go ahead and enter my notes. So notes are a nice way of keeping track of information that we want to capture, but it's not really part of any of these key fields here. So it's just, some notes, and say, hey, John will be a great member and contribute to our Arizona chapter. So something like that, right? So, and then the system will actually automatically date and timestamp it, and it'll always be there on this particular record. So we've looked at individuals, we looked at organizations. Now we'll look at our sales pipeline, or how we can create and track opportunities, that's what we call them in the system. So again, my default view is chapter sponsorship opportunities view, which is all chapters, all sponsorship opportunities for my chapter. I have another view, which is the chapter membership opportunities view. I can also go look at that. And other opportunities are of course not visible to me, but I'll focus on the chapter membership opportunities and the chapter sponsorship opportunities. So let me go ahead and click new. And if you look at the system, the look and feel of the forms, whether we looked at individuals, organizations, and now opportunities, kind of the same, which is on the left-hand side, we'll have a bunch of fields. On the right-hand side, we'll have notes, etc. And that's really what the system is set up so that you'll have consistency across different aspects of the system. So in this case, I want to go ahead and create a new membership opportunity. So at the top, I can see this is a form specifically for sponsorship related opportunities. Actually, let me go in and then I can actually change it and look at a form that is specifically designed for tracking membership opportunities. So I can just put in a topic like new membership, and individual, I can select John. So I'm assuming there are many Johns in the system. But I'll select the John that I just entered, so it's John Smith. I can select the organization, it's not required. Usually on a membership, I'm not required to select an organization, so I don't have to. A follow-up date, which is basically when I should follow up next, just a reminder for myself. And then some additional information, description, any text that I want to enter. What's the current situation? You know, John is interested in the membership, might be willing to talk or sign up soon. Any information that you find relevant, right? I don't need to enter anything else. I can go ahead and save it. So this is how I can create opportunities or pipeline for my chapter. Let me go ahead and create another one. Now we'll focus on sponsorship. So again, I want to go ahead and make sure that I have the right form. So let me go click on that. And let me select sponsorship for Arizona event, right? Individual again, let's just go select John Smith. And now this time I'm going to select his organization. I think it's relevant for me, so I'm just going to go and select that. I can put in the type. Maybe he was a former sponsor, so I'll just select that. And I can select the sponsorship amount that he's willing to put in, so I'm going to put $5,000. I don't need to fill in anything else. I can put in the estimated close date, which is when I expect this to convert to actual business for or actual revenue for the company. Let's say it's 14th November. You can go ahead and save it. And so this is how I can create my opportunities as well. We've gone and looked at organizations. We've gone and looked at individuals. We've gone and created different types of opportunities, membership opportunity as well as sponsorship opportunities. The last thing to do is, okay, we've been following up with John Smith about this sponsorship. Everything looks great. And at some point, John Smith decides to agree to sponsoring the event for $5,000. We can come in and mark this as one. And this is important because this is what tags this as kind of business one, right? So it'll bring in information from my opportunity, the status, actual revenue. It's coming in from my sponsorship amount. If it's different, I can enter it here. And I can put in any description I want. I don't have to select a competitor because I didn't lose this. I won it. I can hit OK. For now, I'm going to hit cancel. For whatever reason, John decided to not be involved, and I can mark this as lost. And what this will do is this will actually give me an option to select the status. Revenue is 0, of course, but I can then go ahead and actually put in a description then saying John is not interested in this event, but he will sponsor the next one, right? Sorry. And so, and this information now I can use it in the future. For my use because I know, or I could set up a reminder for myself for the next event saying, hey, John is interested. So this covers our review of the full application. Now, when I go to the light application, I'll talk about the differences that we see in the light application versus the full application. So let me go ahead to the light application. So right now, this is the URL to access the light application. Off the bat, there's a different UI. It's a much simpler UI. That's why it's called the light application. It really consists of 3 core options: organizations, individuals, and opportunities. Just like my full application, my default view is my organization. I can search for any organization just like I did before. So I can search for Chase, and it'll load up the information and it'll bring up Chase when it's done searching for it. So it's a little bit slow right now, Let me see if I can refresh this. Unless I missed something. So I'm going to go ahead and click on organization. So I think it came up. So let me just go ahead and type Chase. And there we go. So this is the same information I see. Um, let me go ahead and open up Goldman Sachs so that we can see the differences between the two, between what I see in the full application and the light application. So when I look at my form, it's a much simpler form. I can see it as an organization name, classification, etc., address, and then contacts that work at that organization. What I don't see is insights. So that social media feed that was getting all that information from all these different sources, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. I don't get that information, which could be very useful in my prospecting cycle. I also don't get the ability to look at some other options like notes, etc., on this record here. Of course, I can go ahead and create new organizations as well. So if I go back to my organization screen, I can go ahead and create a new organization. And so let's call it, let's give it a name, Stanford Associates. That looks good. And I can select the classification. I can add any of the information I have, but for now, I'm just gonna say, okay, everything looks good. I'm gonna hit submit. So it'll allow me to create this organization, which is great. I can go into individuals. Now, this is important. Again, these individuals are individuals across the organization. So remember, we created John Smith. Let's go look at John. And there is John Smith at test.com. All right, so this is, again, a simplified view of that record that we saw within the full application. We don't get those insights from all the social medias again. We don't get the ability to have those, the ability to look at activities, etc. But we do get the option to add our notes just like we did before. We can also go ahead and create our own individual records. So, and in here, I can go ahead and create the same individual record that I did from my full application. Finally, I get to look at opportunities. I have two options again, membership opportunities and sponsorship. Now, the big difference here is on the Light application, I do not have the full visibility into all my chapters opportunities. I can only look at things that I have created. So I miss out on getting that view of what's happening at my chapter level. So that information is not available. These are things that I created, so they're available here. So let me go ahead and create a new opportunity. So let's say new membership. Let me go ahead and select the individual here. So in the full application, I can just go type in that individual's name. In the previous lookup, I'll go find it. But in this case, I have to click on the magnifying glass. I could come here, and then I can type my information. So I can now create it for John Smith, and then I can set up my follow-up date, etc. So I can submit it, of course. And then this is because I created this, so I can look at it and I can work on it. So let me go ahead and refresh my screen here. There we go. So John Smith's opportunity is here. So that is really it. Two sales applications, the full application and the light application. Couple of things I still want to mention as the differentiating factors. We already talked about insights. We talked about the ability to have these notes, activities, etc. We talked about how we can see all chapter opportunities here in the full application, while on the light application we can't. Additionally, full application users will be able to also use an email that is set up for them with the FEI domain. So you can actually use that, and you can track even your email conversations from that as activities directly in the system, or even send out emails directly from this full application. So these are the core differences between the two. Thank you so much for your time, and look forward to having this system help all the chapters maintain and manage your prospecting pipeline. Thank you so much.